First and foremost, I want to say that it's an extreme privilege to be here. Note for you guys, this is probably just everyday business. This is one of the milestones in my recovery process. This is one of the reasons why I do not hesitate to suit up and show up wherever it's needed, because I know that things are changing. Now, we look at the video, that's my life story. Okay, we get that. And I'm going to walk you guys through it because we're very time sensitive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to walk you through this so that you can understand just how simple it is, how simple that is. What I want you to do is I want you to forget everything that you ever learned from your mother. It should be a no-brainer for you guys. Everything that you ever learned from your father, everything that you ever learned in church, everything that you ever learned in school. We're off to a good start. Y'all pretty much got that, right? Okay, if you can just forget all of that stuff, just right now, bam. So this is your first office visit, and just change all that. Because on the other side of that, that's just where I was. I didn't have the benefit of all of that. And so some of my very early media exposure, and media is a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing, and a lot of people say, well, that video will put me to sleep. Well, I remember my first media exposure that had a very strong impact on me was I saw James Cagney standing on top of the petroleum tower. Look, Ma, top of the world. I'm a little dude. I saw that, and I said, that's who I want to be. A lot of the math I missed. But I said, that's who I want to be. And I did my best to become that. Because the only people that were nice to me were people who were not really nice people. But they were my heroes. And then when I saw that, and that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be that guy. Anyway, and I did my best, which obviously wasn't that good. But what does that mean? How did I get from there to here? It's a process, and I'm going to let y'all in on some secret. None of y'all heard of it, but it's called recovery. Amen. Check this out. And the only difference between that recovery and the recovery that is the hope that we're here in this room talking about today is that God was my case manager. Okay, and he lives in infinitum, and his time thing is a whole lot different. So it took me 40 years and a lot of abrasions, a lot of consequences, and that video was done when I did a presentation. It was put together for a presentation we did at the CIT conference in Las Vegas, and the dollar amount on that was $3 million. Was my history unchecked. That's what it cost taxpayers. That's what it cost the system. $3 million, because I was challenged. And I remember people talking about, oh, well, he probably really doesn't have that issue. He probably just has some other issue. But I remember hearing people talking about voices in their head, but I had personalities inside my head. I had whole personalities because I didn't grow up with brothers and sisters and brothers and mothers and all that kind of stuff. I grew up with personalities inside my head that made me feel better. Because I could just be with that perfect personality and it made me feel better. Or if I was challenged and afraid, I could just be, and I would just start, and those people would start communicating to me and I wouldn't be afraid anymore. And as I started to evolve, those personalities and that communication became scarier for you and more consequences for me. But anyway, how does that translate into what we're doing here today? It was the collaboration. As you noticed at the end of that, they said case management from Union Mission, NA, AA, my church, and a lot of other agencies kind of got me into a corner. And that corner wasn't that scary corner I'd always been in. It was a different corner. It was a corner that was my circle of support, maybe like a trapezoid of support. But it was a corner that had a lot of people with a lot of options. And I remember being really, I started going to substance abuse treatment, and I kept going. And they said, well, you graduated, you can leave. And I said, I don't want to leave. And they let me go to aftercare for a year. And then after that, they said, okay, you graduated, you can leave. And I said, I don't want to leave. And they said, well, if you're going to keep coming because it's going to be a kind of conflict with the billing thing, you're going to have to pay. And I said, well, that's fine. Because I checked it against the price of buying dope my whole life. I said, well, $10 a visit, sure. And I kept paying. And a lot of people told me, man, you're crazy for doing that. I told myself, you got to be crazy doing that. But I didn't know anything else to do. But it was while I was in that class that they came to me and said, have you ever heard of NOM? I never heard of that. And I got into the peer-to-peer thing. And I started to hear, because I had been in NA and AA, and I had heard that graphic examples, and that's what I needed at first. I needed some graphic examples because I was graphic. And then when I went to NAMI and I started to get some clinical coordination between, I said, that's me. And then that started to come together for me. And then I said, I want to tell other people about that, and I became a peer-to-peer mentor and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, that collaboration, that circle of support. And when I was in their classes, I remember one time they came on the CIT, everybody in here knows the CIT? I know. This is quite a crowd. It's that CIT thing, when they came and the police came and they were talking to me, and I know so many of the police in our community personally, and when I remember them looking at me and they were like, they couldn't believe that was me. And I realized right then, I said, wow, this is an opportunity to explain to them what I was thinking about them. I didn't know what was going on. I thought you guys were the enemy. I thought anybody, if I had walked in this room, I would have said, the enemy. Because, okay. Anyway, so just say all that to say this, that now that I work for the Open Door to Recovery Project, and I get a chance and I've seen people's lives be changed for real, because of this collaboration, because of all of us coming to the table together. The Certified Peer Specialist Project is something that has changed my life. The very ideas and thoughts and stuff that you guys come up with in this room, the DBHDG housing voucher thing, I've seen that change lives. I've seen people's lives change. I know it can really work. And this today is part of my recovery process as well. Amen? I mean, is that, amen? Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay.